Behind me is my 2012 Audi S4, and as you all know, I just completed a 9-hour road trip to pick this thing up. Now on this road trip with this lovely Audi S4, I realized that the car has some oil consumption issues, and it probably has to do with the fact that I'm not using the best oil. This is what's currently within the car, Castrol Edge 5W40, and a lot of people say that this is contributing to my oil consumption issue. I did also do some basic research, and guess what? Oil consumption in the 2012 V8 Audi S4 is normal per the user manual. I've never heard of that being normal, and I've built some very high horsepower cars, as you know, my Mustang and my Camaro, and not once have I ever had oil consumption. But per the Audi manual, it says that per 600 to 1,000 miles, you can burn up to half a quart of oil, which is exactly what I did on my road trip. Now, besides that little hiccup with oil consumption, my Audi S4 with 92,000 miles has presented very little to no problems. Well, I should say no problems besides that. Let's go ahead and keep our fingers crossed though. I don't want to have any other issues with this, but now we're going to begin the long list of maintenance that is necessary to keep these 3.0 TFSI engines very reliable. So we got to do an oil change first. Nonetheless though, let's go ahead and get started on our maintenance. So we have some Liqui Moly 5W40. This is what everybody suggested within the forums to run, and apparently this decreases your oil consumption drastically. So we'll see if that statement is true within this video. Let's go ahead and get started with this oil change. Enough with the yippee yappa. Now, I'm not entirely sure where the jacking points are for this vehicle as I just bought it, but how hard can it be? You know, we do some quick little forum research, and they usually outline it, make it super simple, and we'll figure this out. Did my basic research, and the jacking point is actually right there. So there's a pinch weld, very exposed, very easy. This is probably the easiest car that I've ever jacked up because it literally has a rubber pad on the pinch weld that is intended for doing this. Get my second workout in for the day. Safety first, am I right? Let's get this jack stand all situated properly. Alrighty, let's drop it. All right, you wonderful supercharged V6. Let's see how your oil looks after having 90,000 miles. You know, that's not a light number. It's got some mileage. You got a little mileage. I'm chilling. That is definitely a significant amount. And we'll see how well this thing was taken care of before me in just a second. I actually don't have the correct size Torx bit to remove the drain plug. It's a T45, but take a look at the undercarriage of this 90,000 mile Audi S4 that at one point was driving on icy roads in Minnesota. So look at this. The undercarriage actually looks mad decent considering that there's a bunch of salt there and ice. I don't really see rust, so that's fantastic. Just in my luck, the last one within a 50-mile radius. Let's go. This should do the job, but I just figured out that we need a crush washer from factory or from Audi. So I won't be able to fill this thing up tonight, but at least we'll be able to drain it and take a look at the oil. Oh my God, this thing almost overflowed. So I got like a 16 quart capacity. I had to throw the plug back in there and it was bad. But the oil, just like looking at it from here, it looks pretty good. So this is a 90,000 mile car and it looks like it's pretty healthy. I'm not seeing any sort of metal shavings or rod bearing material. So that's a good sign.
You can talk.
Well, I have nothing to say.
Oh.
I'm putting that in there. Big dots you see right there is all dirt because this isn't the first time that I used the drain pan, and I'm happy with that. You know, usually if I was doing an oil change in my Mustang, you would see like a lot of glitter, so I'm not seeing any of that, which is awesome. So the car's in pretty good condition. I'm also gonna compression test it, so that's always a good idea to see if everything is 100% good with the motor, and then we'll do spark plugs. Nope. German cars, man. 36mm socket is what I need to get this oil filter off, and we're dealing with a German car, so I don't have a 36mm socket. That is a huge socket. No one usually has that. So it looks like I need a crush washer and a 36 to complete this oil change. Man, let's see if this these channel locks work. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I thought it doesn't work. Nothing else does.
Oh yeah, it does. It's rotating it. Okay, yay! We're able to get the oil filter off.
He's a hand now.
A hand. What? Hey, yo! What?
It's gone, man.
So that's what your oil filter looks like, and we do have a couple gaskets we need to replace here, but they come with the new oil filter. So
Oh my goodness, bro.
There we go. So now we're gonna remove the gasket seal that's inside the oil filter cap. It was hard to see. I thought Austin didn't put one in at first. I was like, oh no, Austin. Maybe that's why I got oil consumption, because we got a little leak, but now it is coming out. I highly recommend getting a picking tool too. So there's the old one, and we'll throw the new one in just a second. Where is it? All right, so a good practice for this is to take some of that old oil and we'll go ahead and lube up the new ring. So they just say that this is good practice because it just lubricates it properly, and then you can drop in your new gasket inside the oil cap or the oil filter cap, just like that. So perfect. And now we are taking out the other gasket, which is on top. So I use this pick tool, it just makes it really easy. And this is the skinnier one that comes right on off of it. So now we can put in the new one. It's the same idea. You just place it on the outside ring and we can put everything back together. Okay. Oh, perfect. It slid right on. Pretty easy. Not too bad. Now we can put this assembly back together with the new filter, which is, where is it? Oh, you have it, Anthony. So this thing, like you just...
Oh, wow.
Oh. Oh, the gasket just came out.
Oh, boy.
That's not coming out. So this should be able to go back in there. Here you go. So that slides in just like that. You're gonna tighten it down same exact manner. Hand tight first. You can follow the torque spec. I don't follow torque specs because I do Toby spec with the channel locks.
3 days later.
Now I can finally finish up this oil change because I sourced this from the Audi parts department. So this is basically just a crush washer, and this is gonna ensure that this doesn't leak when we put everything back together. So let's go ahead and throw this on the awesome S4. This ring that I have here, I know it's probably difficult to see, but this is the original crush washer that I just removed off of the bottom of the belly pan. So I used a 90-degree pick tool and it slid right on off. This is gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. New drain plug, new crush washer, and then we'll tighten this a little bit with a ratchet, but I'm not gonna go too crazy because we don't want to strip that out. You know, we're gonna give it that Toby spec. So Toby spec usually seems to work. It's not too tight, it's not too loose. And now I'm gonna throw in about 6.8 quarts. That's what I'm seeing on the forums of this liquid moly. So let's get this thing open. Let's see if that drain plug was tightened down enough so it's not pissing oil all over the floor. So that's a good thing. I think we did a good enough job. You don't want to go too tight though. Remember, you'll rip the threads out. Mandatory dipstick check, and we should be all good. I already wiped it one time, so this is the second time coming out. So as you all can tell, it's to the maximum line. We've got fresh liquid moly in here. Let's see if I can finesse this back in. And we're all set and good to go. We're just gonna get a start. You know, it's good for extra precaution to make sure that everything's okay here. Everything sounds good to me. That was some very easy maintenance knocked out. Now, I don't think I'm gonna do the spark plugs because I have to order them. I thought I could get them in store, but I'm going NGK one step colder, so that's gonna take about a week to get here. And then obviously I'll do the compression test at the same time because I don't wanna waste my time. Taking out the coil packs and all the ignition takes quite a long time, and it is quite involving. So we'll knock out the compression test at the same time as that.
The next day.
My new spark plugs for the Audi S4 should be here sometime next week. So obviously I can't have them teleport here instantly, but we are gonna go pick up an upgraded heat exchanger as a part of this maintenance video. And I'll also explain exactly what that does. But let's get on the road. The drive's about an hour and a half away to my buddy Nick, who is giving it to me for completely free. And we're gonna get some awesome power gains out of it. So what exactly does an upgraded heat exchanger like this one right here do for cooling? Well, your cooling system on a supercharged car, and specifically this one right here, consists of intercooler bricks with inside the blower. They're actually located right in the lid. You also have a heat exchanger, which is obviously this thing right here, and you have an intercooler pump. By upgrading the heat exchanger, you're effectively increasing the capacity of the heat exchanger to cool the charged air that is eventually reaching the intercooler bricks inside of the supercharger. So something about having a way bigger one, and you can see the comparison between my stock one and this one right here, actually helps cool down the coolant of the supercharger system that's cooling those intercooler bricks. So I think it has to do something with the size and the fact that this has way more fins. It's just more effective at cooling down that coolant, and that's why you get better times, because the lower your inlet air temps, or basically the charged air that is going inside the supercharger, the more timing that you can have. So I just want to remind you guys, if you're running super hot, you're heat soaked, you're not going to be at maximum power because the ECU is going to pull timing to prevent detonation. Man, I got home way too late last night, but now we have this. I'm so glad that we secured it and we did some maintenance to the car. So I guess stay tuned for the next video where we throw this in and see the immediate cooling gains. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.